What's welcome to Ang. Today we'll be back to another episode of stock reviews, and today is going to be one of the fan favorite stock, Meta. Let's go. So welcome back. Today is going to be our last stocks review inside Max 7. So the first impression when I heard about Meta is going to be Facebook, Instagram, as well as WhatsApp app. So basically what they do is providing and operate social media platforms in order to provide services for the users, such as to communication, posting, as well as advertisement. So from the chart in Meta, we observe a huge drawdown during the September of 2021, which actually dropped almost 75 to 80%. This is crazy because if I were in that situation of buying at the highs, I might freak out. But if you understand the fundamental basics as well as the financial statements of this company, maybe holding long term is going to be a great opportunity in order for you to earn almost 5 to 6x already. So right now the stock is trading at $695. And without further ado, let's look at their revenue. So in terms of revenue, we can see that Meta actually success in giving a great impressions of growth as well as continuously increasing revenue over the past 10 to 15 years. And now we'll be looking into their source of income in Meta. So basically, if comes to Meta, our first impression is going to be, as I said, Facebook, their Instagram, as well as WhatsApp social media platforms, which consists of a lot of advertisement. If you scroll through your phone, scroll through the reels or the shorts, you'll be able to find many advertisement, as well as that is the source income for the company. The major portion of that revenue is going to be advertisement. It actually stands for 97% of the total revenue, which is going to be the advertiser that pays to show the ads on their platforms such as the Facebook, Instagram, Messengers. And this is through certain action. For example, if the ads is being shown, it's being clicked, or if the product is being purchased through that ads, the advertiser will actually pay the Meta for the operations as well. So the second one is going to be their lab. So Meta actually produced Oculus VR headset, which is somewhat one of the top VR equipment in order to play virtual reality games. And third is going to be their business messaging and API services. So instead of just providing social media to post your images as well as to share advertisement, Instagram, Facebook, they also provide services such as to allow you to have messaging, to call, to video call, and so on and so forth. And plus the WhatsApp app, which is one of the most famous communication app, which links to your phone number and is widely used in Malaysia as a basic type of communication apps. So it's like a WeChat but in Malaysia. And for the fourth one, it's going to be the payment. So they actually also provide Facebook Pay or Meta Pay. And the fifth is going to be their marketplace and creator economy. So the Meta earns transaction fees on the sales within the Facebook marketplace. So they actually charge certain percentage from the sellers that they use their platforms in order to provide selling services. So the monetization tool for creators such as stars, paid subscription, and so on and so forth. Overall, do you think that Meta is actually a technological company? Well, yes, it is, because from generally you see what they do is actually to operate social media platforms, and from that sense, it's like, they just opened up a Facebook, WhatsApp app, which is kind of like just letting people chat. But in reality, back in the back end, what they do has certain related to machine learning or large AI amount of tools such as big data in order to tune according to the user's preference to show the advertisement to them in order to increase the chance of them clicking the ads as well as to purchase the product from the ad as well. So this actually involves a lot of AI as well, and certainly for their services in terms of virtual reality equipment is definitely a very high technology in terms of to produce a great experience for the users when it comes to virtual games. So this company with high revenue, let us see how much they actually earns from net income, but also it's very strong and with certain growth as well as continuous growing net income. And in terms of free cash flow, we do have Meta sitting at free cash flow of almost 50,000 but in millions, so which means going to be 54 billion free cash flow from 2023. So that's a lot of cash that they hold. Since they earn a lot of money, so they will be able to stack up all their cash as well. And this kind of company, they usually have low dividend as well. So the dividend, they don't actually give dividend before, only started to giving out during last year of December 2024, which they actually prefers to put their money into their own investment or to invest to their own company to develop and to improve their social media platforms or to create better AIs in order to provide better experience to the users in the platform itself. So when we look at the ROIC and ROE of Meta, we can observe a pretty decent growing of ROIC, staying at the level of almost 20 to 25% ROIC, and a significantly increasing ROE from 8% to now almost 34% at the year of 2025. And last but not least is going to be their research and development expenses. So as I mentioned, they have a lot of free cash flow, and with this free cash flow, they will be able to invest back into themselves, into their company, in order to enhance and improve their platforms and to create better AIs, better segments, better services. So right now we'll be looking at stock analysis for some further analysis of the financials. So as we mentioned that Meta has a lot of free cash flow, but whether or not it has a lot of debts. So with this net cash, we'll be able to minus the free cash flow with the total debt to see whether or not if it has positive cash flow or negative ones. So we can see that it's actually sitting at the positive cash flow of total after deducting from the total debt. We have a significant amount of 20 billion in cash. However, this value actually decreased since the year 2020, but I don't blame them to have such decreasing net cash because I do understand that they will be putting a lot of money into their own research and development sectors in order to provide and enhance their products, as well as to find out new sectors or fields which they can earn more money in terms of providing social platforms method to our users. So in terms of ratios, we have the Meta sitting at PE ratio of almost 27, and for me 27 is really not that expensive, plus the recent low is just 13 PE at the 2022. And with the price of book value sitting at the value of 9.5, meaning people are actually willing to pay 9 times the value in order to purchase this company. We also have the debt equity ratio staying below 1%, signifying that the company has a very healthy financial statements, and also have the ROE, which is pretty high that we just mentioned. Overall, the financial statements for Meta is pretty healthy, pretty good, just that the net cash they have is actually sort of in the decreasing or consolidated form, but this is not much of a concern because at the end of the day, Meta still have positive cash flow, which allows them to survive many different situations as they don't have to borrow money from the bank in order to do research or to support their company in terms of investment as well. Overall, the Meta financial statements as their fundamental is very decent, very solid. However, in my opinion, stock is actually trading at near time high, and that is the thing that I would not buy at this moment because it's very dangerous to buy at the top. And the rules are simple in stock investment is to buy low, sell high. So right now, if you were to buy, it's going to be buy at the highs, and there will be a lot of danger spot whereby if you will be losing money when the stocks goes down below this range. So whether how much it went is going to be a loss for your portfolio. So what I will be doing is to wait for Meta to sort of create certain highs again before coming back down again to the 200 MA levels. Only then I'll start purchasing the Meta stocks. So with this being able to create new highs and pull back, I will be able to buy at this level with a certain safety of margin, meaning that if the stocks went down some more, I wouldn't be afraid. And if I will be able to buy at a very low spots, for example over here, I will be having more comfortable positions to buy at here because it has more safety of margin, which allows me to have a further or higher growth into the upsides. Because if you were to buy at the top, there is no certainty that the stocks will eventually go up despite having such great financial statements. So it's safe that you actually buy at certain resistance or certain supports in order for you to have a really solid strategy as well as to have a great safety of margin. So overall, we understand that Meta is a financially stable, solid company. However, it's sitting at an all-time high. And right now, we'll be identifying the strengths and weaknesses of this company. So first of all, it's going to be the strength, which has massive user base. So I do agree with that due to the social media platforms such as the Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, which has become the top social media apps that is being used by most gadget users and to allow communication as well as posting of social media's events. So second is going to be the dominance in digital advertising. So except of Google, Facebook, Instagram plays a very vital role in terms of advertisement. So you'll be seeing a lot of advertisement during YouTube, during Google search. Besides, when you scroll on your social media platforms, you will be able to see a lot of advertisement as well. So this is the two companies, which is Google and Meta, that provide a huge services in terms of advertisement. And they said that Meta is the second digital ads company globally after Google. So Google is actually a far better company in terms of providing advertisement. So it has strong targeting capabilities using vast user data. So it also has strong brand portfolio. So that is true because well-established platforms such as Facebook and Instagram, which has been used by our consumer for many, many years. And if I were to create a new social media platforms, people will start to doubt and confuse about whether or not if my platform is good enough. And in that case, they will be choosing towards to use with their traditional platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, which is highly trustworthy and it has been there for many years, so there will be less uncertainties. So in the fourth one is going to be the advanced AI and machine learning. So they have strong R&D investment, which is as I mentioned, the ads targeting. So based on your preference, for example, me personally, I like stuffs like food, gym equipment, the property. So I'll be getting more ads such as latest equipment, the latest property being built, latest development, and so on and so forth. So this allows a more approachable method in order to provide what the user likes and what's their preference. So the fifth strength is going to be the first mover in metaverse. So virtual reality is actually, they said, it's the future of gadgets, it's the future of humanity, whereby we don't have to be in that spot in order to do certain occasions. So it can be inside the internet, which is true virtual reality. It provides visual experience which is similar to real-time life. So Meta is one of the company that pioneers the virtual reality gadgets. And sixth is going to be the global infrastructure, which they own large scale of data centers as well as undersea cables. Moving on to the weakness of Meta, we have their over dependence on advertisement. So that is true. Stating the number of the source of revenue, 97% of it is actually advertisement. So the company revenue is highly dependent on their advertisement operation, which somewhat can be vulnerable to economic downturns, Apple's iOS privacy change, and spending shift towards TikTok or YouTube. It is true that they are facing competition with Google, with a company that their main income is not from advertisement. So if users are shift platforms from Facebook, Instagram to TikTok, YouTube, which owns by Google, then this situation, Meta will be a company that lose its strengths in this position of competitions, because in terms of Google, they will be having other form of income such as their YouTube channel, their Google search, as well as their product of their cloud services as well data center. So the main income for Meta, 97 in advertisement, is going to be dangerous. However, I do understand that in terms of mode and strength, Meta is going to be standing there for many times 10 years, 20 years down the road without any problem because of its long-term strategy, as well as the brand that anyone has been tied to this branding and is most comfortable to use this platform instead of others. So the second weakness is going to be the privacy and regulatory challenge, which is they repeatedly face criticism and legal action regarding. So the two companies that I just mentioned, the Google as well as Meta, these are the two companies which they actually face legal action frequently, such as data privacy, the content moderation, and monopoly or antitrust issue in the US and EU. So the content moderation and data privacy is that they suspect Meta has the data of many users and has been listening to what the users are saying. So the third one is going to be the declining Facebook usage among youth. So Facebook is a pretty solid and decent social media platforms for many people across ages. However, right now in the generation alpha and beta generation from now on, it's going to be preferred to more on using TikTok, YouTube, or even the apps from China, which is called 小红书. And Facebook is actually seen outdated by Gen Z, as they said. And me personally, I don't use Facebook that often before, but back into my primary school and secondary school, I do use Facebook as my main social media platforms. But right now, the main platform for me is going to be YouTube, Instagram, maybe 小红书 a bit, as well as the Threads and the X by Elon Musk. So the fourth is going to be high metaverse investment risk. So this reality lab has lost billions of dollars yearly. Consumer adoption of is still a niche, and the risk of long-term unprofitability in metaverse segment. So what they are concerned about the metaverse is that this virtual reality equipment is not being used, or it's not profitable at the moment yet. So what they do, or what they invest into the VR segment, is going to be a total loss, because it's not a product that is such as iPhone or the services such as the Google Clouds or the Amazon Cloud, AWS, which is widely used by many people right now, which becomes a general segment that generates a lot of money. So right now, Metaverse is sort of like an entertainment for most people. And fifth is going to be the platform fatigue and misinformation. So challenge with users fatigue from too many features and ads, spreads of misinformation, as well as harmful content. Six is going to be the political risk, which is operation in regions with censorships or bans. So China bans the Facebook and Instagram because they have their own social media platforms, and the data localization laws in India and Europe create compliance complexity. So after looking at Meta, it's actually pretty solid company, because if you look into the past, that it's very special, it's very strong that they have this user confidence of building a large social media platforms, which a lot of people are using their products, and they will be able to display advertisement to let their users interact with and according to their personal preference, which I do think is the way that how they make a lot of fortune from it. However, concern that 97% of the revenue is from advertisement is pretty strange, because although it has 97% of the revenue is from the advertisement, it's still being the second largest advertisement company after Google. So if you will let me choose between Google and Meta, I would prefer to purchase Google due to certain facts. The first one is going to be it has larger advertisement services than Meta, and Meta is actually depends on this kind of services provide, which is advertisement, to earn their revenue that whole 97%. And the second is that Google is considered way more cheaper than Meta, because Meta right now, although it has very decent PE ratios of 27, it's sitting at almost all-time high as compared to Google. And the third part is going to be Google has different source of income. So when it comes to certain situation that advertisement can no longer be operated, or advertisement has certain challenges and issue cannot be operated, Meta will lose almost 97% of his total income, which perhaps leads to Meta without earning money for certain quarters of the rest of the year until that problem is being resolved. As for Google, if advertisement is no longer there, Google will still be able to survive as they provide further services that Meta doesn't have. So in terms of moat, if you will ask me that Meta is a strong company with strong user base and trust in terms of advertisement, yes, I do agree. However, one problem with it is that it has too many uncertainties. That what if the advertisement sector is down to the ground? So what happened is that the Meta is going to be face a lot of problem, because as I said, Meta doesn't have other source of income besides their services as well as the VR segment, which only stands about 3% of the company. It's just that Meta maybe won't bankrupt straight away. It's just that it won't have that advantage as of the company has right now. So I think that sums up to the fact that Meta is actually a pretty good company, pretty solid company, under the condition that, hey, advertisement right now is still in demand. People are willing to buy through advertisement. People are willing to spend money to advertise their product using the Meta's platform to display to other users. And I don't think that this company will face challenges like we just mentioned, because users will likely, or the advertisers are more prone to approach companies such as Google and Meta, which has high branding, high user confidence, in order to display their advertisement through their social platforms. So this brings down to certain facts, is that Meta is a great company, great economic mode, and sitting at a very high price that I will wait until maybe certain retracement or pullbacks is occurred before I enter this company. Finally, is something that will happen, maybe 1 or 0.1% chances of happening, which is going to be advertisement is no longer able to be operated. This is where Meta will lose their stance, or Google starts to innovate certain more other efficient and effective ways of promoting. That is where Meta will have their challenges being faced. So overall, I think that Meta is pretty cool. And I guess that is all for this video, and we have officially completed the Max 11 stock review. On the further video, I will be doing one episode of ranking of the stocks within the Max 7 to see which one is actually a buy for me and which one is something that I would like to stay away from. So I think that is all from today's video. If you like the video, please do support me by giving me a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you have questions regarding anything financially or regarding stocks market, either it's Malaysia stocks or US stock, you can email me by using the email angyaxun@gmail.com, or you can just approach me at the Instagram angyaxun, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.